robust urban garlic flavor.
Yeah, I know you're gonna call me crazy, but I do feel sorry for Kat. Like, think about it. Phil is basically a hermit. He says he only goes out of his condo 1 day a week to go get groceries and do his stupid errands that takes him forever. And it's like, how much is she tethered to him where she can't go and live the life that she wants to because Phil has to be stuck in his ways and doing all this stupid gaming stuff? Think about it. Here's the thing. Both DSP and PPP are just huge liars. So what the truth is, who really knows? But it's pretty apparent that Kat is not having a fairy tale ending living with Phil. And it's going to get worse for her because it's like PPP has set his sights on Phil and Phil didn't realize it. And now everybody knows that she apparently is working at a specific store. So I'm sure there's people swarming to that store to see Kat and, troll her or interview her. Like, it's just sad. And there's just so much crazy stuff. Like, apparently she's found religion, which is like, of course she has, because if you're just with Phil all the time, you're just gonna be basically with yourself because he's staring at a wall.
They see that blue dot right there? That blue dot is me. And it actually showed the direction I was looking in my home. Okay, so at the time when I was on my phone, I was looking at the wall, and that's the direction I was staring, or the phone was looking at. Okay?
So you want some sense of connection or community to something. Like if you go to church, it's like, hey, that's an excuse to get out of the house once a week. And Phil's like, well, okay. And it's like it's kind of hard for Phil to argue with that. Because, we've been hearing all this stuff, like, Phil has cameras outside of his house, like, he's a complete 220, he's a complete nutcase, he doesn't trust anybody. He's probably been socially isolated since he's moved out to Washington, and that has drained him mentally and physically, like, he's not the same person he was 10 years ago. He's acting like he's agoraphobic, and he won't interact with the outside world because he thinks everybody's a troll that's out to get him, because that's his experience on the internet. His internet thing is his real life. That's like when he says that he has a pizza party, he's like, "Oh, it doesn't make me feel bad because I'm sharing it with other people." And that's not just a Phil thing, like, people have that interaction with social media that's, like, documented and studied, and it's like the stuff that people put out there, that's their highlight reel. They're not gonna show you, like, the 6 p.m. on a Saturday eating through a jar of ice cream and crying. They're just gonna show you the good stuff. But with Phil, he shows us everything because he can't help himself. And really, the victims of that are not just Phil, it's his family. And Kat in particular, because she's gonna bear the brunt of this. She probably bears the brunt of it all the time because let's think about what it's really like living with Phil. Like, it's gotta be a nightmare. And why she's put on weight, like, it's fairly obvious. If he's not letting her leave the house, like, how is she gonna get exercise? It's not like he's gonna buy exercise equipment. He wants to spend all that money on champions. It's like, it's not like he's gonna let her go out on walks without him. He doesn't trust her. He doesn't trust anybody. And, like, the sad thing is, like, you hear the story about, like, how they have, like, a zoo in their backyard and they're feeding wild animals, and, like, they had a bunny that they liked and the bunny died. It's like, I was thinking, "Oh, cool, cat has a bunny." No, it's weirder than that. They have a pet outside bunny, and it's not just a bunny, it's like a deer and something else.
Phil has talked about the grove next to his home. Apparently, woodland creatures come to the backyard and they feed them. It's a deer, birds, a squirrel, and a rabbit. The rabbit had died, I bet. Oh, shit. Okay. So Phil's like nature, man. Oh. Well, what about the wife situation, Duty? Like, what's going on with that? Like, is there validity to it? Is it just Phil, like, oh my God, shut up, music. You think it's diabetes?
Going solo last week, I think it went really well.
The meme is taking soulmate to the zoo, but Phil is afraid to go outside, so he brought the zoo to her. Such a Philip Burnell thing to do. It's true.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't really wanna feed the squirrels outside because 'cause they'll just keep coming back for more. It's all about the little things, and if you don't have those little things that you enjoy, life just becomes harder to deal with. And you have this guy who's been doing the same live streaming thing for like the past 7 years. He has this rigid schedule. He never gets out of this flex. It's like, I need to do this, this, and this all the time. And it's like, you can see how that's tiring to be with somebody like that because they're never spontaneous. They never do anything interesting or fun. They never take you to the zoo. They never take you to Seattle. They never go out with you to a walk in the woods. They won't just take you out for dinner. They got to order DoorDash in because they don't want to talk with anybody in the outside world because they think everybody's duty streams. I would be freaking out if I lived with somebody and they forced me to stay inside. Like, I can't take that. Like, I'd get cabin fever really quickly. And with Kat, it's like you doubt that she has the mental capacity or the familial support to get out of that situation. So she just sits there and rots and turns into whatever she is now. Like, apparently Phil says that she's sick and she's dying. But here's the thing, when you're become fat and obese, you just start accumulating all these health problems because being fat is not good for your heart, it's not good for your liver, and it's not good for the rest of your body. Like, I don't have to go on this whole like thing about how being fat is bad for you. Just look at Boogie and Wings. Your blood pressure goes up, like everything goes up. And it's like your body can't take that because we as a species have not evolved to have these huge food surpluses. That's a modern thing. And we're trying to figure out how to deal with that as we become an increasingly sedentary society.
Now come here, my fat concubine.
Hey, I'm not even hungry.
I want you bigger. I want you fatter. It will please me.
Like, the thing is, you got to eat less and you got to get out more. And it's very apparent that Phil, Mr. Moobs, does not do that. He sits inside all day and plays video games. And Phil's so stupid that he's got to stream 6 days a week, 2 times each day, and have the same amount of time approximately for each stream. He doesn't innovate. He doesn't make it flexible. Like, hey, if I'm getting a lot of money, I'll stream longer. He doesn't do that. He's like, okay, 3 hours, whether we hit the mark or not, I'm shutting off the show. It's just frustrating. Like, everybody is pissed at Phil. Like, even the people that actually want to see him get better, it's like, the thing is, he doesn't have the capacity to get better. That's why he is the way he is. That's why he's stuck on level 1. He's just a joke. And it's like, you could see how that wrecked Panda Lee, how that is wrecking Cat. And it's just a very sad phenomenon because you had this guy who was successful and never innovated and didn't realize that his time passed, and he's still on the internet like a cockroach, and it's hurting everybody around him. Now, he doesn't have a huge circle anymore. It's basically just him and Cat and his cat. So it's like, okay, it's not a big deal. It's just this weird situation, but it's really sad and pathetic. And it's like people are just giving you money to just laugh at you, and he doesn't get that. And his wife is like the biggest punchline of his streams. Like, people call her a horse, etc., etc. And it's just sad. He won't even stand up for her. He'll defend Darich more than he'll defend her.
There was a person who was part of our community for many years, and apparently after many years, it came to light that they were involved in some underhanded stuff. Now, they never, ever were involved with that on streams, nor did they ever bring it to the streams, but my stalkerish detractors looked into this particular, all right, and found out about it and just made tons of content about it. And I'm like, I don't want to know about this. It has nothing to do with me. You're stalking the person or whatever. Well, eventually they talked about it so much that then it became like, I guess, public knowledge that this person was doing messed up stuff, you know, on the internet particularly. And I got so much pressure, all right, about it that eventually I said, fine, I'm just going to get rid of them. If it's this big of a deal, if it's affecting the community this much, and everyone wants me to do it, then I'll ban them from the community. The funny part about it was this person was not even a contributor. This was not even a person who sent me $1. So all the argument that, oh, this is a big contributor and that's why he won't get rid of them, is complete fallacy. This was just a person who came by every day and was actually into the conversations and was a nice person. But you know what they say, you know, people yeah, they put on a face and they maybe behave one way in one community, but in reality they have problems, and that's kind of what I think was the thing with this person. So anyway, so I banned them, right? And you think, well, that's the end of it. Oh no, because when I banned them, it's what took you so long? What's your problem? Why didn't you ban them the very moment that someone told you that maybe they're involved in something bad and blah blah blah? And it's like, wait, what? So after all these months being pestered and told you got to do this because it's the right thing to do, and I finally do the right thing, oh, it's not good enough. You should have done it earlier, right? And that's what I mean. That's how it is with my content and my streams. It doesn't matter what I do. There's always people who complain and say that it wasn't good enough.
Thanks, Mom. Okay. Now,
Uh,
Dark Crystal. Where'd you hide it, Fluff Butt?
I'm not so sure she needed the snack. What was that? Who said what? What was that? I think Mom's an enabler. Who said that? What? What's going on? I'm hearing whispers.
And that's really pathetic, and that shows you what Phil thinks of her. It's awful. So, fuck you, Phil.
Like 5 times. Do it! My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to try.